Hi, Natalie.
I don't know if my voice can go any higher than that.
It was good. Good.
Welcome, everyone, to New Earth Magic. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Laura, Maven Star.
We are so excited to kick off this live show. And, eventually this is going to be a community. But let's start here and see where this goes.
Sounds good.
So I figure we should probably tell people a little bit about who we are in a nutshell. And then maybe we could talk about why we wanted to really bring this to life. I think that would be good. And our vision,
Okay.
perhaps. What do you
Yeah.
think?
No, that feels really good. I think that's a great place to start with our first show
Cool.
here.
Well, how
Yeah.
about you kick it off, sister?
Okay. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to our new, thriving, and beautiful and growing community here with my good friend here, Natalie. And we've been wanting to do this for a while, and it's time now. And what a beautiful week to be kicking this off, because this is a very, very important week where we had on Monday, we had the equinox and coming into spring, and then we had the new moon coming in on Tuesday, and we have Pluto coming into Aquarius today. So this is a beautiful day to begin and bring in new, fresh beginnings. And I'm super excited to be collaborating with Natalie on helping to support you in thriving in whatever you're here to birth into the new earth reality. So my name is Laura Mavenstar, and I've been on the ascension path for many, many years. um, and I'm a galactic ambassador for Divine Mother, Universal Mother, and Mother Earth, and the Mother Consciousness. And so I'm on a pathway of where um, is a very feminine and mystic soul. I would how describe myself is to be here as an emissary and to show other women and even men how to step more fully into the embodiment of embodying what I call your star soul light and your true galactic origins and cosmic origins and gifts and messages that you're here. You're here at this very special time and incarnation to birth something very important in our new collaboration of birthing the new earth. So I do support women and men who feel like they're on the priest or priestess pathway. And I have many different things that I do to help you with that, teaching Akashic records, teaching you how to connect with your higher self. I also do a lot of work as a womb priestess because the womb is playing a very important role now. And as we take back our sovereign power and we step into knowing more fully who we are as divine creators, we want to open up these beautiful and ancient pathways that Natalie and I'll get into, and teaching you how to really be grounded in the body and be confident and clear and be here to express authentically more of your priest or priestess self, you could say. Those are my terms and my terminology. So, yeah, a little bit about me. And how about you, Natalie?
Yes, I just had to notice real quick. I wear pink too.
I know. I was just going to say that we both, chimed in, and we're both wearing our pink today, right? For the feminine.
That's
Woohoo.
so funny. I,
Yes.
didn't literally not even thinking about it.
No, we were just tuning in to each other, I
Y
think.
yeah, the typical.
It is.
Yeah, well, Laura and I are very connected in a deep soul way. It's one of those instances where you meet someone and you realize, "Oh, hello, so family." But it's, I mean, we're talking primordial connection energy.
Mhm.
Um, because the one thing that we share deeply is a connection into the universal, cosmic, galactic, mother energy, divine feminine energy. And of course, we have our unique flavors and twists, which I love. Um, for me, and a little bit about what I'm bringing through as far as the mission in this incarnation is a medicine woman energy, um, and moving into master herbalism. What it was in my soul contract as quote unquote a doctor of the future, as it stated. The timeline of our new Earth pathway, anyway, that kind of future. But also, this deep connection into Gaia. In fact, what I realized was since a little girl and being connected to these energies that came through in many fairies and what we've called archangels, though I have a very different take on this now, which I hope we'll get into in a future episode, but is this energy of tapping into Gaia and being a voice, one of the voices for Gaia. And through this time, this realization that I bring a very powerful warrior spirit and energy, but not in a warrior of those who like war, a warrior energy of the tribal druid lineages, which is a protector energy, a protector of this earth. For it is Laura and I can actually state that Gaia is a child of ours just as much as we are a child of this beautiful being that we live upon. So, the work that I am bringing to life is about really getting the light workers, the light warriors, the Gaia warriors, the rainbow warriors through all the prophecies of the indigenous tribal groups that have lived, in North America, but all over the globe, in those prophecies, getting people in that realm to be unstuck from the third density, to let go, to learn to heal, and to step into their power. So, and how to build the how do you actually build that mission for real? Like, how do you really create it? So, tap into your magic is one of my programs to bring the clarity, and then obviously bringing through a strategic supportive guidance and facilitation to create that mission. But through all of this, the reason why we really wanted to bring this to life is because it's time.
Yeah,
Right? We've been talking
absolutely.
about it for a while. In fact, Laura was here in the region that I live, and then she moved to Sedona, and I was like, oh. But
Oh.
also, it's good because it's like you're tapping into frequencies there. I'm tapping into the frequencies in mountains here, and
Mhm.
we bridge these dimensions together of these energies, and I think that brings a really powerful combination. So, needless to say, we are witches, my friend.
Ooh, I like that. Cool, what a cool mug.
Isn't it? I'm like, I think I need to
Oh,
drink from this.
I need one of those.
Oh, yes. You do. We can use it for our show mug.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
Okay,
let's
cool.
do that. I think, yeah, what you were saying, like we're bridging East meets West,
Yeah.
and me being, moving from the East and living there my whole life until moving here into Sedona a year ago, which Sedona I have visited here many years and many times, but never knew I would be living here. And I feel so blessed to be here because, like you were saying, I've realized my connection to Mother Earth. It really started to take on a new level when I was living in Asheville, North Carolina, because I love Asheville, North Carolina, and the influence of the divine feminine energies and the divine feminine vortex are very powerful there. Different than Sedona, but
Mhm.
coming here and being able to anchor, it felt like I was coming home.
Yeah.
Being a very feminine soul and a mystic, in having this even deeper understanding than I had before of how connected I am to Mother Earth and the importance of that connection to help in, like you're saying, that we'll talk about practical ways and tools and processes that we can share with others to really, as we continue to deepen what I love to call our soul. Uh, I was saying soul light for many years, but now I'm saying soul starlight
Mm,
because this is what's been coming in is the cosmic soul light of our highest frequency. Our I am presence is now wanting to embody more deeply within us
mhm.
and connect to Mother Earth. And as we strengthen those connections, as we remember and awaken those ancient connections that you were talking about, that, we in several different lifetimes tapped into, like you and I, so being connected, like you were saying, to even to the primordial mother energy,
Yeah.
the dragon, the celestial dragon, Sophia Mary, which is
Mhm,
a galactic energy,
mhm.
and then different lifetimes, whether it was in Lemuria or Atlantis or Avalon or, at the times that we
As I
were.
keep getting chills, chills, chills,
Yeah,
chills.
and I was getting chills, and then as druids,
Yeah.
and so, we can tap into all of this, and we can bring the wisdom,
Yeah.
and, we can bring it forward now and share it with others, and to recall and remember as we are stepping in and through these prophecies, it's a powerful time
Yeah.
for really, as you navigate these times, in giving people a confidence, giving them practical tools and processes. I think it's really super important. And that's going to be part of what we're about. What do you think, Natalie?
Yeah. Definitely. And, what's interesting is I think that all of us that have these missions, these very clear missions, we often can get a little muddled or stuck in the um if other people are saying are talk say there's another thing that talks about the new earth, right?
Hmm.
Well, the interesting thing is everything that we're going to be bringing through is going to be so incredibly unique that no one else is going to be talking about the same it maybe talking about topics but not in the same light, not from the same angle. And so I think that just speaking truth is part of this druidic connection, which was literally truth as an anchor, wisdom as an anchor
Mm-hmm.
to all things. And it wasn't to learn wisdom to then not share it. It's to learn, to grow, to navigate the truth and, you know, collect wisdom and then share it back out for the highest good of all living beings and not ourselves. So this is why it's a true service to others pathway in the
Mm-hmm.
positive light. Whereas, you know, what has been hidden, what we've called the word occult, which just means hidden,
Right.
this is another anchor to what we're doing is this revealing the magic and mystery. We need to reveal it all to be able to see it all, and that is the tips, that is the tools, those are the underpinnings of how people can step into their power, take back their power, or like in shamanic practices, right? Taking back all aspects
Mm.
of your soul into an embodiment and integrating into one whole self, I am presence. So, yeah,
Yeah, beautifully said and stated. And, another term for witch is goddess, and really they're kind of interchangeable in my language, but um
definitely. And
in
actually, we should probably get into this sometime. I have it's this big old thing on all in every language what witch means, the
wow.
word, and it all basically is a seer,
Yes, a seer.
a
Yes,
healer.
a healer. Yep.
So anyway, this I think this should be a future episode. We'll just put a pin on that one.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I would love to get into that. I would love
Yeah.
to, Natalie is a wonderful wordsmith. I mean, I just she blows me away with her ability to, comprehend the use of words, and that's something that is not one of my gifts, but I just so appreciate that gift because
Thank
I
you.
think today it's super important because words can be either harmful or helpful.
Yeah.
understanding, the intention or the energy behind words and learning how to discern the energy behind words, the energy behind what people are saying. It's really, a challenging time for all of us as
Yeah.
intuitives and healers, even for those of us been doing it for a while to still discern what's truth versus what's not truth. And, for my own pathway, because I have a lot of earth energy, but I have a lot of air energy. And having a lot of air energy, I had to work very, very hard and do many years of practice to bring that energy, into the body more and then connect it to Mother Earth so that I could, because the more embodied you are, the more you're going to feel that clarity. You're going to be able to work with your body as an instrument, which our bodies are meant to be instruments to help us to discern the truth. And being a multi-sensory intuitive, I get information very a lot of ways, but
Yeah.
I'm most grateful that with the path and the journey that the Marys helped me on was, returning to my ancient wisdom of a womb priestess and my clairsentience. My body is my biggest truth meter,
Yeah.
and she can discern because our body never lies.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to make a decision or you don't have a clarity or you want to make sure you're not making it just from the mental realm, or even, you want to make sure you're making it from the heart and the body, then, this is where, you know, to me, it can be challenging right now to get into our bodies.
Yeah.
There's lots of distractions out there to keep us out of our bodies. There's a lot of things happening to take us out of our body, I guess would be a polite way of saying it.
Yeah.
And as we awaken on the awakening path, it's not always easy. It can be challenging. I certainly have my own challenges, and I'm certainly not perfect doing this and don't claim to be, but and still working on it each and every day. How can I become more conscious, more aware,
Yeah.
of the truth and in reality, what's really happening versus what is an illusion, you know?
Yes. Yes, which actually, even our process to bring through this episode and to work on like what we were going to talk about, a really important point on it is um and this is why, doing things with the power of, two is much better than one because our topic of heal thyself,
Mhm.
that is already giving us our power back because we can say, oh, I can heal myself. you know Even the word priest and priestess, that in the Egyptian times, which of course is going into, a lot of other things that we won't get into here, but even that was inverted to become
Mhm.
like this elite, like now the people only can be healed through a priest or priestess. Well, we're
Mhm.
saying everyone's a priest and priestess.
Yes.
Everyone has the power to heal. We need to embody and integrate that first before we can even, step into these other aspects of ourselves, which actually is the other part, which is the facing, processing, and integrating of our shadow.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
without knowing all these layers, that which has been hidden, that we are already conscious of, and bringing the subconscious into the conscious, we can't look at our entire being without doing that work. So we're all required to do this work. No one um, is free and clear of doing that
There's
work.
no there's no shortcuts,
No,
and I
there's not.
learned that many years ago on my own pathway, and my body is still getting chills from you talking about that. And, you know, we are our own healers, and it doesn't mean, though, that we don't help each other. It doesn't mean that we don't get
Exactly.
support from other healers or other intuitives or other teachers. Of course, we do, because
Guidance,
guidance,
facilitation,
and, you know,
remembering.
remembering, awakening with information so that
Yeah.
we can truly use this information and these tools to transform our energy, to
Yeah.
transform, you know, from out of the illusions that the shadow holds, and we can continue to work with that energy so we can to I love the word transformation. That's a big word for me this year because I'm kind of like I want to go deeper and deeper and deeper into the subconscious,
Yeah.
in the womb, in the body, because that is where we're going to become more conscious. Our
Yeah.
our womb is the seat of our consciousness. It is the seat of our soul consciousness. Why? Because it's the gateway and the portal to accessing more and more of who we truly are, our
Yeah.
knowledge, our gifts. And as we work through the layers of, the illusions that keep us limited, we can expand beyond it and we can move beyond it so that we are confident again about, and we can believe in ourselves that we're healers and that we can trust ourselves. I mean, this is probably one of the two biggest things. It's not just about your self-worth, it's about you. Are you able to trust your intuition? Are you able to believe in your that you're a healer? Again, are you really able to really grasp that and embody that and work with that? A lot of my practices, as you were talking about, as a medicine woman, I mean, we are medicine women. Women were the first shamans on the planet,
Yeah.
and tapping into our shamanic abilities again, and believing that we have that power because we do.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah.
the power when we connect with our soul light. And now we can connect directly into Mother Divine Universal Energy again that we were cut off from in the third
Yeah.
dimension. And now that's
In
returning.
our third density experience.
In our third density experience, that's
Yeah.
right. And now that
Yeah.
we're shifting into the fourth, and then we'll shift into the fifth in a few years, wow, we're getting so prepared for knowing the true power that we hold as humans, that we can overcome anything, any
Yeah.
condition, any illness that we have, any challenge that we have. But we're on this journey, I think, Natalie, of remembering and awakening. And even if we're moving one small step at a time, that's okay. We're just
Yeah.
moving forward, right, together and rising together and
Yeah.
remembering this truth.
Yeah. Yeah, and, I think that another really imperative aspect to mention is this druidic lineage, which is a Mother Mary Magdalene lineage, which is this is lineage is far before any empire existed on this planet. We're going into, primordial energies of this planet's existence and beings in which we're here with. Again, there's always been beings with a specific mission and an
Mhm.
energy to help, kind of what you would call shepherd, almost guidance, facilitation. And on this journey, it's this energy of what I know we've talked about, when you truly can look at the shadow, because this is something that Laura and I have really been always simpatico on and in sync with, is that you have to know the elements of yourself that have been hidden, bring them into the light so you can see, so
Mhm.
you can know, and then you can heal, or at least embrace and be with aspects of yourself. Because many people in this, especially this new agey spiritualist, spiritual group that is, that I never felt connected to, even though I was very spiritual, this energy of being too up here, too in the clouds, too in the, I don't need to do the same work you need to do, but listen to me. Energy is really not work. It's not, it's first of all, it's never worked. But, I think people are really tapping into this wisdom of like, oh, something about this doesn't feel right. Because if we're
Mhm.
always up here, how do we get into the body again? How do
Right.
we merge all aspects of self, higher self, what you could say lower self? and bring it into this one being so you can be who you truly are and really activate the heart space, which is the fourth chakra, which is the fourth density, matching and mirroring Gaia's evolution because we are in galaxy, actually.
Yes.
And that's really important because, and then Laura and I were also, we're going to, for this show, we're going to tap into the star energies, the frequencies coming in, the planets, the celestial beings, to work with what we are being asked to work with, which in this time, like was Laura, you mentioned, was is this aspect of you know Jupiter conjuncting Chiron. This goes until April 12th, and also we this equinox and this I mean, there's so much happening in the cosmos, and of course, we all know as above, so below. So
Yep.
we need to this the shadow work, as it's been called, is
Mhm.
is absolutely not only required, but it's so imperative for what you would call ascension, for what you would call evolution. And
Right.
again, we and it's not it can be fun to see
Yeah.
all these parts of yourself and be like, "Oh, damn."
I mean, it can be, absolutely, and I think that's a really great point because my guides have been encouraging me the last couple of years, and with these really high, beautiful, cosmic frequencies coming in through the great central sun,
Mhm.
coming in from even from Divine Mother, from way,
Yeah.
way far away galaxies that are the Divine Mother started to return. I started to get that download in January 2017, and in my time in France, when I was there, my first pilgrimage in June, I was like, wow, and I met a druid. A druid came to me, um, in the forest of France. It was not something I expected or I even intended for. It was just a magical synchronicity of reminding me of my time as a druid in the Celtic church and as a
Mhm.
priestess and a priest, and came with this beautiful message of how Divine Mother was returning and the winds of change and the I remember looking up at the sky and the winds, the trees were blowing and the leaves, and it was like, wow, this is so awesome, a message that he was sharing where Divine Universal Mother was coming back for her children on this particular planet and this particular galaxy to kind of, you know, bring things back into balance between the feminine and the masculine, to begin to really begin to return to honoring the feminine that has been lost on this planet for many thousands of years, where the feminine, particularly the Christ feminine, the Christ consciousness feminine aspect, has been repressed. And we know about that story through the life of Mary Magdalene, Saint Mary Magdalene. So, it was a powerful message, and we're in powerful times, and
Yeah.
at the same time we can also lighten up, and we can know that we're supported, and we can also kind of even use the energy of play and the energy of what we enjoy, doing, to help us to shift the shadow. It doesn't have to be like, I remember 10, 15 years ago, I felt like, oh my God, I'm hitting my head on the wall,
Yeah.
banging my head on the wall. And I'm like, I don't want to move through this like that. I don't want
Yeah.
others, and there's so many beautiful ways that we can support each other through play, through creativity, because, you know, Yeshua revealed to me a few months back that part of the Christ consciousness archetype, the Christ consciousness that we hold in the divine Christos Sophia 12-strand DNA template for the
Mhm.
human, is that we to understand that we're co-creators with source, that we have
Yeah.
this direct connection with source, and that we don't, and that's really what's been lost, that I'm understanding more and more. We gave away our power, we gave away our aspects, we gave away that became the shadow,
Yeah.
and we gave it away, our power, and for whatever reasons, many reasons, and now it's all about coming back into our sovereign power embodied in the physical body. And we're doing this embodied in the physical body, like you said. You can't just operate from the heart up in the higher chakras. You won't be able to, as I've been explained to me, it's not coming from me, but from the Marys, you won't be the creator. You won't have the sovereignty and the power to manifest and create that you will
Yeah.
have once you fully clear and cleanse those lower 3 chakras.
Yep.
And as I understand and teach is reclaiming the space and the power of your womb chakra, which is the creation portal where everything, just like a baby that's
Yep.
birthed from the world of formless to form. It's the same process for anything we're birthing.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
for those of us who are ready and, the more we can understand this, that, it is about full embodiment. It is about working with your body Deva. Your body Deva is a partner with you. Your body Deva is a gift from Mother Earth that your spirit rides in this body Deva. And your body Deva has her own consciousness and her own ascension process.
Right. Yeah, and this really wraps into the law of one, which has
Mhm,
come into you know, my sphere of awareness for quite a while now, and it was just a light that turned on, that happened through many different layers of readings and learnings and research, and just, of course, the dream. Most of my things come to me in dreams. Dream
mm,
time learning is my
mhm,
has always been where the precognitive style stuff. And um, the interesting thing with um, we've had this power of knowing about chakras, energy centers for always. It's never
mhm.
not been known.
Yeah.
And I think it's, too often it gets pushed into this, like, all right, well, let me meditate and just clear them all, and then okay, good, right? But that's not really digging into this. Would be the first thing that has come to me that I would like to share, is that
Mhm.
it is not just about seeing them purified and cleansed, them being our chakras, especially like you said, the lower 3 chakras, because those are the 3 where, as we can say, the negative influence on our third density experience has trapped people in. And so by knowing and seeing and clearing those centers through understanding the emotions that are trapped within those on a consistent basis, because we can clear and cleanse, but then the next day something crazy happens and we get pushed back into the root because we have a fear of whatever, or back into the sacral, because there's distortions in how we're like experiencing other people. So it's like we're always being forced back inside to clear and cleanse through emotion, through understanding or inner standing. Talk about words.
Mm.
Understanding what we have locked and tied into these energy centers, clearing and cleansing them, tuning them up, so to speak, and then working through that constantly. It's not like you do it once and you're done, or you do it a couple times a month and you're done, or it's literally consistent work, because there is no mistake that every day you're seeing some absolute BS, lies and manipulation in your face to try to trap you in the root, to fear you into something. And this
Mhm,
is on both the truther conscious side, as well as the mainstream, as we can say, unconscious side. So it's happening on these in both spheres. And so how do we, like you said, it's about balancing or using the divine feminine, the divine masculine, as a male or female. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Your gender does not matter.
mm-mm,
How do you use those at different times to bring through and balance your energy centers? So it's like you're constantly weaving this energy. It's not a 50-50.
mm-mm.
It's not perfection. There is no such thing. Um, so that's just one thing I wanted to mention, because in the law of one, that's talked about a lot, is how important these energy centers are.
Yes, absolutely, and in balance is to me is a key thing, and keeping the energy centers in balance, that's where we have to find that sort of magical what works for us to keep our energy
Yeah.
centers in balance, and like you said, we're not all walking around 50-50 feminine and masculine. I happen to
Yeah.
be like 60% feminine and or over 60% feminine and less masculine. That's just my unique, authentic,
Right.
divine, spark of
A
what
blueprint
a
almost, right?
blueprint
Yeah.
of when I was created as a soul. And so, we all have that. We all have that unique cosmic imprint, if you will.
Mhm.
And, one of the things that I would like to mention is that I've kind of noticed in the spiritual community, and I'm not blaming or judging anything at all because I'm certainly part of that or the truthers or whatever. I don't like to peg myself necessarily in any particular group, and because I feel more free, and also
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I
Because it
think that
comes with labels and yeah.
yeah, it comes with labels like we were talking about words. And also, I don't want to make any generalizations about anyone because I don't want anyone to make generalizations about me because to me, that would be, you know, not serving anyone. And it doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve anyone. But one of the things I have noticed, and it is something that we're all been highly conditioned in our society, because as we can see, our society is narcissistic. There's a lot of narcissism. There's a lot of even, going beyond to the sociopath. I mean, there's a lot of these sort of very, I call them distorted energies because what happened is when the feminine became repressed, when she became repressed within you, in your generations, your ancestry, and she was made wrong, bad. She had to hide, it was shutting down this creative force, this creative
Yeah.
flow that's supposed to naturally run through us.
Yeah.
Well, when we shut that down on every level of our body and it reaches down to the physical, then it is manifested into a disease, which is just an imbalance. But the word that really came to me lately was that I had to say to myself, because as a child, and the trauma I experienced that was generational, and again, I'm not blaming my parents or judging them, I love them, but, there was a lot of gaslighting. Well, why was the gaslighting going on? It was going on because to they weren't ready in this lifetime to be able to it wasn't their time to begin to examine these repressed energies that they denied their entire life, and that created all kind of mental imbalances and physical imbalances. And I've even seen in the spiritual community and other communities, all across communities, this gaslighting principle being used, to try to force or pressure or push people or manipulate people into things that maybe are not for their highest good or their best interest.
Mhm.
And so coming back into the feminine, the true feminine, the pure feminine, not the distorted feminine.
Yeah.
And, I've tried to really honor this. I'm honoring and working on honoring this in myself each and every day to, you know, to purify, dissolve, clear, and cleanse any of those distorted feminine energies that might lend itself into that. Because
Yeah.
I don't want that. I don't want that in my life, and I don't want that for in any part of my life, right? Or in serving others. And I've just noticed that this is where the ascension is really serving us. I think this
Yeah.
is a good example of how before you may not have had the awareness or the consciousness to even recognize something like this happening in your life. You don't even know it's operating deep within. But this is where you're continuing to just show up. I would say show up, not perfectly, and say,
Mhm.
continue to show me where I need to continue to work doing the
Yeah.
inner understanding and inner work on myself.
Yeah.
And so, this is where, to me is the greatest service that we can give to each other is to continue to look at our inner world and find any places that are out of balance, finding any shadow aspects that we need to work with to bring them into the light, to integrate them into the light, which increases our light quotient, which you know, you mentioned the law of one, talks about the law of one, that we have to, as I understand it, we have to be holding at least 51% of our light quotient to ascend to the next octave, to ascend to the next level of our soul's evolution, which would be moving into the fifth dimensional or sixth dimensional body. Um, and, you know, I think that this lifetime is certainly a calling for graduation of those of us who are ancient, who are star seeds, who are ready to, and others, you know, whoever's ready, um, to graduate per the law of one. And with Pluto coming into Aquarius today,
Yeah.
for next 20 years, Pluto is all about this spiritual business, you know. And if you're in a body on this planet, there's no escaping, you know, I don't think there's no escaping that you're going to be on a spiritual path and
Yeah.
evolving, or you're going to be devolving, you know,
Yes.
into more pain, unfortunately, or suffering, or, you know, I mean, that just, that isn't me. That isn't coming from me. That's coming from, you know, the universe, divine mother and divine father. This is a cosmic ascension. This is
Yes.
way beyond a few people on the earth trying to manipulate and control the masses. No, it's way, way beyond that. And they don't have any power really over that at all. We are
No.
the ones that are, we the people, I love that. We the people and the priest and the priestesses are the ones who are rising, and we're the ones taking this power back, the light and the love that we are.
Yes. Yes. And it feels very you know, the word that I the word that always comes to me is or the vision more so is this tar.
Mm,
And we've been so many people, again, light workers and the warriors of the light, and there's sub segments based on missions based on the primordial soul that you are, maybe even
mm,
primeval, I don't know, you know, that's for us to discern and to figure out.
right.
But yeah, I've always gotten that that vibe and that feeling that it's like tar, and if we can get unstuck from this tar, or at least know the tar, and know the aspects of ourself that are stuck in these places, you know, for me,
Mm,
it's changed and evolved as I have. Um,
mhm,
but the deepest, most elegant work that I've done for shadow work for myself, for lack of a better term, is um is to really deeply move the Natalie out of the way and see the soul and look in the mirror.
mhm,
Do I see my soul? Am I working and operating from soul? Or
mhm,
am I stuck in materialism with the story of Natalie's incarnation? And that has
mm,
been a very powerful tool that I've used, because when I look in the mirror, how can I look past this to see the truth within?
mhm, mm.
And, you know, I've done some things in my past that, you know, Jerry Springer would be very proud of, I think. If any of you remember that horrible show. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. Oh.
but 20 years ago, when I felt like I was trapped and I didn't, you know, it's like a trapped, almost
Mhm,
like I felt like a trapped animal and I was being abused. How do you get out of that scenario? You know, whether it's emotional, physical,
mm,
whatever thing that you trap, you know, and I did this to myself, by the way. So, you know, how can you look at these parts of yourself and be like, I honor and see that I did something that is, I know what is mine is not my truth and what my truth is. And being able to see both of those and love them equally, that's the power of this work that we're talking about, this shadow work. Really truly processing, really truly seeing, really truly integrating. And there's always going to be another layer, I think, until there's just not. But
yes,
as far as I
yes.
know, I don't think there is won't be, you know, in this incarnation anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you, because one of the things that I asked a few years back is, it seemed like the clearing and the cleansing and the purifying, you know, and so much is going on for years. And I asked, you know, my higher self, my divine team, why is there so much? You know, why is it? And they explained that even though we're in a human incarnation, even though we're in a human body in this incarnation, that we've had many incarnations, not only on Earth, but other Earths, other star systems, other planets, particularly if you're a star seed, or,
Yeah.
you know, And so you're carrying all of the unhealed trauma,
Yeah.
you're carrying the distorted energies, the experiences that you haven't been able to really bring up into the conscious awareness of the light and look
Yeah.
at with love, with unconditional love, without judgment, and really look at those so that you could fully then begin to integrate, that shadow back into light. And
Yeah.
one of the keys that I work a lot with for myself and my clients is that, it may sound like this is a really tall order, and I totally get it, but how can I be more, in the energy of unconditional love that my beautiful mentor behind me, Mother Mary, who's my primary mentor, you know, has been helping me to evolve into, because it's a process. Unconditional love without
Yeah.
judgment and self-compassion.
Ooh,
If
it's a big
you are
one.
if you are stuck in fear and resistance, and believe me, I had to work on this quite a bit. My old clairvoyant coach go, "You're judging the judgment. Cut it out."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because sometimes, we recognize the purity of our soul that you were talking about, and the purity of our soul, we have a conscious.
Yeah.
We have if we have a consciousness, we feel sometimes bad about some of the choices or decisions that we made from a space of unconsciousness.
Yeah.
When, because souls evolve. We're not all the same age. There are young souls, there are baby souls, there's mature souls, there's ancient souls. And we are evolving through experiences that, Divine Mother and Father never judge us. They don't have any judgment on
No.
any of these experiences. They know that we evolving to truly find, our soul light, to return to the light and become the light. But they understand that there's no perfect journey, and there's no, perfection around this. It's divinely perfect in the imperfection.
Yeah.
That all the wisdom, that we've cultivated through the experiences of, well, I made that choice and that choice, wasn't a good choice, and I learned from that. We've all had those experiences. And
Yeah.
so I think that, that's a really big topic we can even discuss in another show. But that sometimes it may take us many examinations of ourselves to get to where we can begin to really tap into some unconditional love, or just some self-compassion, or just some, divine neutrality around it.
Yeah.
And so we can really heal it. We can really, come into wholeness and balance.
Yeah. Yeah. And, what we're dealing with from an energy perspective right now, on top of all of this, this is why um, the energy centers and cleansing, clearing, and purifying and working with, and this concept of letting go so you can heal. It's like you have to drop the anchors so that you no longer are, again,
Mhm.
stuck in this tar energy. I've put so much of that work into the Tap Into Your Magic program because that to me has been probably some of the most important work for the light workers, that with missions, the wanderers. If
Mhm.
you're familiar with the Law of One material, they're called wander. It's a wanderer.
Mhm.
Um, and on top of all of this energy, we're also dealing with this amazing energy of Saturn leaving Aquarius to move into Pisces. It's
Mhm.
the last sign. So this signifies an end to a really long season or phase of this winter. So this
Yeah.
dark, for lack of a better word, I don't like use we don't Wolf Lore and I are like, the dark is powerful and that's where creation is sparked. That's where life is sparked. So I guess you
Mm.
could say negative hold on this planet, Gaia, um, is in the last phase. And so and that happened, that movement happened on March 7th. So and this is going to continue. So we are in the last phase of a dissolution of these old outdated systems, of
Mhm.
this old patriarchy that isn't just about a male energy wanting to squash everything else. That's a part of it, but it's bigger than that.
Mhm.
So we have to let go of the old systems, the old everything. So everything that you've known, almost, we have to let it go And that's not so easy. It's for any of us because um it's the small things sometimes where we can get the most wrapped around. And how do we look at those small things to start working with those small things, because it's small things that are the sometimes the largest things that hold us back. It's the things that we think are insignificant in which are not often.
Mm,
For example, just to share, one of the biggest learnings for me in this incarnation, which is in my human design, which is in all levels, is this, and I know why, and that's probably another episode, but um, it's this feel this complete uh the self love. I can give everything else love and compassion except myself
mm,
in a deep, powerful way. I was anorexic in high school. I've had body issues. So it's like you can keep this list going. So I'm very stuck in this sacral energy of the relationship to myself. So for me, what I'm constantly working on is that chakra. I know that's where I am the most stuck. And so, just knowing these things about self in all ways and working with these energies of letting go is really truly how we can open up the doorways for healing in the unique ways in which we need to heal.
yeah, beautifully said. Beautifully said. I love that about when you said the tar energy, that's such a great way to describe the sticky, gooey kind of energy that,
Yeah,
you know, that keeps us stuck. It keeps us frozen. It keeps us from, you know, wanting to rise above or move through and just move through it. And my old clairvoyant coach used to say that it was a sticky energy, and that until we can, really address these lower chakras, the root chakra that holds the fear around survival and the tribalism and the ancient, and then as you said, the sacral chakra about relationships and our sexual, identity, and then move to the solar plexus, which is about, you know, bringing into balance our personality and our soul, being
and
able
how
to
we show
manage
up
that,
in the
and
world, and
how we
yeah,
show up and use our power,
yeah,
those are very foundational chakras.
they are.
And, my sense is that we have to clear and purify, we have to bring it into balance, we have to bring through integrating the shadow into the light and find where we're stuck or find where the stickiness is, the beliefs, the blocks, all the things.
Hmm.
And so that we can bring in the light and we can, bring our chakras to a balance and we can
Yes,
maintain that balance. The key is to
right.
maintain it more and more and more. And then in training our energies, we're like in training or retraining our energies, the
Yeah.
flow of our soul light into the body, mixing with the body and the density of the body. We're moving from carbon to crystalline. That's part of the pathway and on the part of the law of one as well. And so, it's a journey. It's a process. It's a journey. Um, to me, it's not easy. It has its challenges, but it also has great rewards.
Great
Because
rewards.
great rewards, because like you said, my own childhood was very toxic. Both my parents were very
Mhm.
toxic, and narcissism and mental illness and all these things going on, and not
Yeah.
understanding, coming into this world, because I'm a fairly gentle soul, being very feminine, and that world and at times can feel very harsh,
Yeah.
and is a sensitive. And so, but through divine plan, through knowing that divine mother, divine father always have our back, mother earth always has our back in the awakenings and the journey. Now it has been a process, but now I was able to leave those toxic relationships and other toxic relationships and evolve and jump timelines. I call it jumping timelines. So you can, with consistency or just with a powerful intention, that you're going to heal yourself. Healer, heal thyself. It can't be any other way. No one can
No,
do it for us. We can help each other and support each other and love each other and be there for each other to mirror to each other our goodness, and that mirror to each other that you have the power within, just take the power back.
that's it. Beautifully said. And that's what I think the cosmic medicine is. Take your power back. Like if you're to,
Mhm,
there's lots of aspects and ways, but this, I, oh, you know what? And being okay. See, this is another thing in the communities in which we've seen. We see a lot of denial around what negative factions actually exist.
mhm,
Denial that it's real, which is spiritual bypassing, which is not looking at truth, which is not seeing the entire picture. And what Gaia has shared with me, and I have spoken on Gaia's behalf in this way, is you must see all aspects, the negative and the positive, to be able to learn the truth, to be able to see it. Because if we don't see that there's a reality, guys, we have been under a negative hold. And the way, see, it's like you speak intention and emotion into the universe to manifest. That's like a pieces of manifestation, right?
mhm.
So if we are all gathering together, just us having this conversation today to say, there is no, you have no power over me any longer, negative factions, whatever. It doesn't need a name. Who cares? Like we could go on for a few thousand years to talk about exactly what it is, what they are. It doesn't matter almost.
Right.
It's fun to talk about it. It's fun to research. It's fun to know. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just being able to see the truth and know that, okay, maybe this third density experience, as is mentioned even in the Law of One material brought through, 30, 40 years ago now by the LL Research Group, that the Raw Collective clearly
Mm.
stated, you guys are dealing with a little bit of a different experience. our our third density experience from the Raw Collective speaking, social memory complex, as they state,
Mhm.
was very easy in comparison. So, what we need, I think that the point here is that give yourself way more credit than you do. And we need to learn
Oh,
this too, because to polarize positive service to others in this kind of soup and tar thing that we got going on, how powerful is that? Talk about power, you know,
real
and to
power.
real power, and then to help lift others just by like trudging forward,
Yeah.
it's a lot, and that gave me chills.
That gave me chills too because, yeah, I mean, the way I like to define it per the law of one is either we're kind of at this point where we can't sit on the fence anymore,
That's it. Yeah,
and you have to choose which pathway. You have to make a choice. You're either making it consciously or unconsciously. Am I
exactly.
going to choose to evolve on the spiritual pathway, meaning service to others? Because that's going to be the experience of the fifth dimension and the unified consciousness at the first level of love or heaven.
Exactly. Yeah.
It will all be about, everything will be approached through the experience of love, not fear. So we have to
Yes.
drop all the, any built up baggage you would, or integrate. That's why we're integrating the shadow. That's why we have to integrate the shadow and look at where we repressed, these traumas, these unhealed
Yeah.
emotions. And
It's
and
what we
then
talked about, like the witch wound, for
the
example,
witch wound
even,
is one of
right?
them. Exactly. The
Right.
sister wound, all
Yeah.
these wounds,
Yeah.
or you're going to choose by default the path to descend or devolve
Mhm.
the service to self agenda. In the
Mhm.
service self agenda, we can all see that happening, right? We can have many examples of how
Pretty
that's happening
clear.
today. Pretty clear, to see that. But recognizing that they don't have any power over you. They
Mm.
do not have any
They
power over
don't.
you. Whole thing is just an illusion.
It's
They
like
only
Wizard
get
of
their
Oz scenario here.
yeah, Wizard of Oz. They only get their power from you when you give
Yes.
your power away to them consciously and unconsciously. And we're all working on consciously regaining our power and
Yeah.
choosing to consciously regain it. We're all working on that. And I love what you said too about what I call is we need to stop beating ourselves up. We need to take
Ugh,
ourselves off the hook of
yeah,
these past experiences because this earth, has had a very kind of negative, manipulative, distorted, you know, interference, I call it interference with the
yeah,
natural aggression of evolution that happened at the fall.
yep,
It sort of took everybody off course in a sense, or most people. We may have come to this planet and incarnated many more times than we needed to, in a sense. But, I always like to look for the silver lining. And the positive to that is that now we are positioned to take back our power. Now we're ready.
yeah,
There's no there's no accidents. There's no accidents or mistakes in the universe. Either you believe that or you don't.
yes.
That's a law, a
It
universal
is.
law.
It is. It is. It is, and the more that we can just keep taking those steps back into power, and those of us here on a mission,
Yes.
ignite it, for it is
Yeah.
time. Because the it's kind of when I started Disrupt Now, that all came from a dream. Part of that
Mm.
dream was also this concept of there's medicine in everything, because disrupt has the word up in it. So it moves
Mhm.
you up and out and beyond a place in which you're stuck. So if we can truly transform the experiences that we have,
Mhm.
negative as they may seem or are, often are, to see that, how can I bring some medicine out of this sucker? How can
Mhm.
I really look, and it take look, this isn't an overnight thing, but this is the power that we have to see the angles.
Mm. Yes. To see the angles of the diamond as we've all, through our experiences, you could say we were a lump of coal.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, we were
Mhm.
unconscious, we were rough, we were distorted, and now we've transitioned through all these experiences to become this beautiful, shining diamond light,
Yeah,
right? And we're still transforming, we're still refining it, we're
yeah,
still becoming more like, you know, what I call our divine, soul starlight. That
yes,
reflection of our soul starlight, made in divine perfection when we were created by divine mother and divine father, but we're just going to be reflecting it in this human suit this time around. That's what
yeah,
we're doing,
yeah.
you know
And if you do, from I love the way the raw social memory complex is also talked about the wanderer spirit.
mhm.
And what that really looks like, and that really is, you incarnated so quickly after, because of your love, or you're tied into ancient, I mean, again, primordial energies of actually helping this earth be born, which I actually remember for myself.
Mm,
But the
mhm.
wanderers are here, they incarnated so fast back onto earth, which is a privilege. So remember, if you have a mission, and if you're like, oh god, I do have it, yes, that's what I'm feeling, because right now those contracts, divine contracts, are being activated.
Yes, absolutely. Our what I call our new dharma missions, we've completed the third earth, the third dimensional missions that we had are complete. Now we're moving into these new dharmic missions, and
Yeah.
legacies. And, this is an exciting thing that inspire me, just
Yeah,
knowing that we're going to be uplifted more and more. It doesn't mean we don't have challenges that we move through, but it
definitely
gives me
not.
a lot of hope, and I have faith as I
Yeah.
take this leap of faith this week, which is what I feel we're being called
Mhm.
to taking this big leap of faith. We are leaping into the unknown. We
We
are in
are.
unknown waters.
We are.
But, my own experience of taking some pretty big leaps of faith in my own journey, in my own dark night of the soul, where, you know, I didn't know how I was going to support myself. I didn't have a job. I left my home. I left my marriage. I didn't left and I a car full of stuff and I didn't know, but I had
Exactly.
faith. And, within 3 weeks, I had a job. Everything was working out through people I didn't even know, because the thread is that your soul, your oversoul,
Mhm.
your I am presence is got your back. Your divine team is
As
is
long as we're
monitoring.
listening, and we
Yeah,
keep that channel clear, man, it's all
exactly. It's all
that's that
there.
that's that letting go process.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of when you do drop it, drop the things, the thing,
Yes.
whatever,
Yeah.
how it leaves room and energy open to all this new that needs to come in. You give it
Right.
space. So that's another aspect of shadow work that's powerful is you bring space where there was not
Right.
space.
You bring space because to me, space is love and love is space. The
Yes,
more
it's
that you
full.
it's right, exactly. You're not full of stuff anymore. You're
Yeah,
only creating space for only your I am presence. You
yeah,
know, all we are is sound, light, and vibration.
right.
It's writing into this body. And the more that you do the shadow, you clear, you cleanse, you inner discover, you know, and you are able to soul retrieval or bring back those
Mhm.
lost or hidden aspects that are holding your light, your love,
Yep,
back into the body, the more powerful you're becoming as a creator, and the more you're going to be able to more quickly even manifest, you know, your new heaven and new earth. Because I believe each and every one of us is here to deliver to birth, and we're definitely in a birthing process right now, and it's not comfortable. But we all came here as emissaries of Divine Mother and Divine Father with a message, a voice, a poetry, a song, a book, a kindness, a project, a community, whatever it is.
sure,
You know
absolutely.
what that is in your heart.
Yep,
You know what it is in your heart, and it's going to give you your heart's delight. And when that delight and love go out and to be shared with
yes,
everyone will benefit.
that's
And
it.
I love that. I love that so much because I can't wait to see all the beautiful creations. It is not about competition, has nothing to do with that.
No, Darwin's whole this what they've called Darwin's theory is completely BS. It has no relevance. It is not competition. And, I started a storytelling series and I've been focusing on the divine feminine energy and the primordial energy, that it doesn't have gender, that it doesn't have, any of these things that we've put into it because that's where we've gotten distorted the most. But this other aspect to this is truly being able to see yourself as creator, that there is no barrier to what you can create. And the closer that we get to crystalline structures within our bodies, the faster we manifest.
Yes.
And
Yep.
that's kind of that's why clarity is so imperative.
Yes. We let go of the old victim, persecutor,
Yeah,
hero triangle from the
exactly.
third. Yeah, we let go of that. We clear it, you know, and as you clear that, you're beginning to take back your power as a creator.
Yeah,
And what I've been seeing for the last several years in the fifth dimensional unified consciousness, we're not in a polarized consciousness
no
anymore. We've actually
polarized.
come into a trinity. And the trinity is your complete, what I call your complete soul self, meaning that you're in balance with your divine mother, you know, your feminine energy, your masculine energy. We all have in our divine two,
Hmm.
you know, our divine blueprint. But you've been able to do enough work where you have a good relationship with your inner child that, you know, if you take off the mask of the inner child, that's your higher self.
Right.
So it's really your higher self. So you
Yeah.
come into this place of, and it's not 100% thing. You can't even think of it like that. It's not a linear thing at all. And, but you come into this place of a trinity form where you have direct connection to the flow of not only your soul stream of love and light, but you're connected through your heart chakra to the heart of Mother Divine, and you're connected through your chakra system. And as I teach in my own womb courses, you're connected and filled your holy womb chakra, which is a creation portal, and you connect that with the heart womb core of the crystalline core of the new earth.
Yes.
And as you sort of bring all of that sort of trinity um, points into balance, the more powerful you will become as a creator in the new earth because you're creating from
Yes.
real power, you know, and you're sourcing. You're
True
sourcing
a
yourself
true
from
energy.
yes, your true connections of energy from the divine to Mother Earth, you're sourcing that inside out. No
Yes,
longer are you dependent on the outside.
exactly.
No
It's
longer.
no, yeah, we do not need external validation, and,
No.
this is a lesson for all of us, especially women. Us women get so trapped in this vanity crap, and, that
Yeah.
is whew, that in and of itself is like, I mean, you can see it, and
Mhm.
it's really, an essential, vital, important role in our existence to let go of,
Mm.
it's not it again, with that example, that it's not letting go of what you look like so you don't care anymore, you don't, it's not about this. See, that's that
No.
pendulum stuff.
Yeah.
Where's the balance? It's
Right.
not caring so much that you only look to the outside for validation of who you truly are. You bring the balance back within, and so you have a much more balanced energetic flow with everything around you.
Right.
And again, that's just one example of that's another aspect of a shadow.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, I think this has been really a wonderful first first show, Natalie. We brought in so much value, and I'm not sure if there's anything else that is coming up for me, unless there's something coming up for you
No.
that we can bring in today. I think there's a lot of content here and a lot of value for people to kind of go and um, as you listen to the show the first time or the replay, there's a lot here to kind of contemplate. There's a lot here to understand. There's a lot you can meditate or sit with even and see what pops for your soul. See what, ahas or if there's a shift or a light bulb moment. And do we have a place for people to post their comments or questions even after the show that
Yeah,
we can
yeah. In our
okay.
Unite, New Earth Magic stream, you can definitely, post things there. Looks like
Okay.
we might be having some issues with the streaming room. I was just looking at the,
Oh, okay.
thing, but I guess until next time, Laura, this was
Okay.
awesome for our first episode. Yay!
Yes, yay! I'm super excited and loving it, loving it, loving it. And thank you so much. And sending some love and light to all of
Yes,
everyone who views our first show here on Unite or any other platforms. And
yes.
look forward to growing and learning and sharing and evolving and spreading love and light. And yeah, and just us all rising together as we disrupt the status quo.
I couldn't have said it any better, so agreed.
All
Thank
right,
you, everyone.
sister.
See
All
you
right.
next
Thank
time.
you.
Mwah to everybody.
Much love. Bye bye.